I want you to restate what you just said about your children, because I think it's important to.
That they all feel like they do the most for me.
Yes. Be specific.
What do you mean be specific?
Well, I mean provide some details.
They just all feel like they do the most. They spent hours over here moving me in, organizing my stuff, helping me with my nails. She's been the most instrumental in helping me go through my belongings and move multiple times from getting breeze from the hospital, from rehab, and then to here. And she's done shopping for me. Ethan's probably done the most shopping for me because we have like a weekly deal.
Go back to that comment that you made about how long you have felt that way.
Since the accident happened, the kids have all claimed that they do more for me than anybody else.
And how does that make you feel?
I said, I think it's funny, because I know it upsets you, and you're the one that does the most for me.
Well, is it because I'm upset that I'm not getting my my due, so to speak?
I don't know. Why does it upset you? Because you are the one that does the most for me?
No, that's not why it upsets me.
Well, it's true.
But I'm the parent, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but they don't recognize that that's where the end of that sentence should go.
The reason that it upsets me is because it doesn't matter. Like this is not a race. This is not a the mere idea that somebody would keep track of how much they help you, I just find repulsive.
Well, you're the one who talks to everybody about currency.
About what?
Currency.
Well, I don't think that has really anything to do.
That's basically saying there should be a payment, some sort of payment for services rendered.
Right. On a personal level, on a personal level there should be transactions that occur. But I'm not a banker trying to make sure that all the transactions are fair and equal, right? And that somebody is paying more than somebody else, then somebody should circle back around and say, you know what, you're not paying your fair share.
Yeah.
That's a different, I'm not an accountant.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's not right that anyone should be keeping a tally.
I grew up in a house where those kinds of things were tallied, and it drives me nuts. I will be that honest with you. When I hear my kids talk about I do more, in my mind, I'm losing it. And it doesn't have anything to do with who's done more or who's done less or how much I have done over time. None of that. It's like, if you love somebody Why would it matter what someone else does or doesn't do?
I
And
agree.
and that's the crux of my disdain for keeping track of that kind of stuff. Do I ever follow up, or do I ever make inquiries into your life about what kids are doing what and when?
No.
Never.
Nope.
My only concern is that whatever is being done, that you're being done right by whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah. You've never even asked that question.
Nope. And I never will ask that question. Because that would immediately make me that guy. That I would immediately become the accountant.
And you loathe it.
I do. I just wish that people would do things out of the kindness of their heart because they love you, and when they do them, that they do them without looking over their shoulder, and they do them in secret. But that they also be meaningful. Like, don't always pick the low-hanging fruit, for crying out loud. Pick something that really, is going to benefit you. Because the other thing that I personally disdain that I don't ever vocalize is, when there are
Token visits?
What?
Token visits?
Yes. And I've never complained to you about that before. You just picked up on that because you know me. But, if you're going to make a visit, then make it meaningful.
Yeah.
Don't do it to check some sort of box.
Don't do it out of guilt.
No, I'm okay with people doing it out of guilt. Like, guilt is a motivator. No, I mean, guilt's a great motivator. People are guilty unto repentance, right? Remorse, guilt,
Yeah.
those emotions are real, and they serve a helpful purpose. So, I'd say I'm perfectly fine with people doing things because they feel guilty. Hopefully there's a point where you can move past that and you're doing things, for better, higher reasons. But,
Yeah.
if that's all you can muster, then, don't let that hold you back. I want you to comment on where, because there's a lot of discussion about should you stay in Linden, should you go to Heber, and you and I have discussed, pros and cons of both, and I have told you that it's your decision, and I'll support whatever decision you make. But after having talked it over with several of your children, with staff members there, with my mom, with me,
I have a hard time making decisions.
yeah, you always have.
I always have, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a
It
new thing.
says that in my patriarchal blessing, for crying out loud. Know that you will always struggle with making decisions.
Yeah, I know. How do I phrase this question? I know that we're talking about should you move or should you stay. The greater question is, or the greatest question is, what set of conditions are going to help you to be the most successful at finding a solution to your healthy habits and your independence. And the first question I have is that is the solution to that question found in where you're going to live?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know that answer.
Well, my observation earlier was just that if location was the solution, then being in Heber would have been the solution, right? If
Yeah.
being in Heber was the reason that you're not healthy and you're not independent, and all the resources there that were available to you then were not the solution then, should we rely on them to be the solution now? It's obvious that
I feel like they would have been the solution had I stayed there, but I left. And so they were no longer the solution.
Right. Well, but why did you leave? Because you felt the solution was in Linden.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I wanted to be closer to family.
Right.
And I thought that external catheter was going to change my life. Because I wouldn't have to wear a brace anymore.
So,
I was putting too much of my hopes in that basket, which I should not have done.
well, I have failed you in trying to make that a reality. But to me that's, I know, but to me that's a secondary thing. I mean, the catheter is not the solution to all your problems either, right? I mean, that's almost like, the question about, is location the solution?
Right.
It is the catheter the solution? No, it's not. It's something that I eventually want to make available to you, because I realize its value, but it's not going to be the thing that tips the scales, towards independence and being more healthy. So my question is,
the biggest reason I'm not independent is my incontinence.
well, I would push back on that and say there are lots of people that I see who are incontinent who are independent. So, people walk around with colostomy bags, for crying out loud. They're so, I know you hate me saying it, but, your greatest obstacle towards independence is really your weight. And so over time, and this has always been apparent to me in any of the decisions that you
but
make.
what is my greatest obstacle in losing weight?
Well, probably just personal attitude. Maybe personal attitude's the wrong way to say it, but your greatest obstacle in being healthier is you. The human mind.
See, I think my greatest obstacle losing weight is my incontinence and my pain.
Oh, well, pain, I'd say that's up there for sure. But I want to get back to something that that's you're not going to get better without help. I think everybody knows that,
Yeah.
right? My point is that the facilities that you are living in have limited time and limited resources to help you, right? X number of hours of therapy that can be done.
Yeah.
The staff have X number of hours per day that they can help you with,
Right.
and there are rules that are put in place that often prevent them from helping you in ways that you need help, right? The state has rules. There's a limit on their time. There's a limit on the number of people that are staffed. I have no doubt that you moving to Heber would make you healthier than you are now. But the question is it a solution? Is it a long-term solution to make you healthier and losing weight? And so I think your decision to move needs to be based in a few realities. And that is that I don't believe that you're going to be able to lose weight and be healthier without family support, like significant family support, like where the family has to basically make up for the limited time that the staff has and has to be able to make up for, doing things that the staff is not legally allowed to do. And the things that we do have to be focused on actual things that move the needle.
Like, this is making me pinky swear that I'm going to be on the floor stretching every day.
Yes, the fact that he was over there the other night and the fact that
he's on the floor with me and helped me stretch.
Yeah, I was jumping up and down for joy inside. Like, that's the kind of stuff that
he was pushing my legs open and pulling my hands forward and helping me stretch while he was stretching himself.
Right. Yeah, just and the fact that we had that experience just a few nights earlier where I was like, okay, get on the floor and roll around, right?
Yeah.
And that he was there of his own free will and choice, and that he, was exercising with you in whatever limited fashion it was, that's not a token visit. That's the kind of stuff that you need on a daily basis. And I will say that there is a lot of COVID that's wrapped up in this as well. I mean, being disconnected from COVID, because of COVID, I know that a lot of the depression and the giving up attitude isn't because you moved to Linden. It isn't even because of incontinence and pain. It's because you've been separated from your family. So I guess in all of this, all I'm saying is that, the first thing is I don't like to make knee-jerk reaction decisions. And I feel like a lot of the decisions that you've made over the last couple of years have sort of been knee-jerk reactions. And I have supported you in those because I want to be able to support you in all of your decisions, regardless of whether I agree with them or not.
Thank you, honey. I appreciate that.
But I think that, before you move again, that there should be, a real long pause on pulling the trigger, on a move to Heber,
Yeah, that's what Dwayne was saying.
Right. I mean, we got to get COVID out of the way first, and yeah, your room might smell worse and, you may be more unkempt, but, my belief, well, first of all, when I heard about that, what's the first thing I told you?
That it was me.
Well, not that it was exactly you, but that it's you are the the greatest influencer on the way your room smells and the way it looks.
You said that I've given up.
Yeah, so the room smells and looks like you've given up. So, and why have you given up? Mostly because of COVID and being separated from your family. So, my 2 cents would be that, let's give you enough time to get COVID in the rearview mirror, and let's, try to help you in ways that are meaningful on a daily basis, and see where that takes us. And
I'm also overwhelmed with pain, and they can't help me with pain here. If I go to Heber, Dr. Muir can do red laser therapy on my legs.
Now, you can't get red laser therapy because of where you're at or the type of facility that you're in?
Dr. Muir cannot come here and do red laser therapy.
All right, so how do
And
we...
red laser therapy is not covered by insurance. It's private pay.
So if you're... So if...
Find a red laser therapist and have him come here.
If you're in Heber, is it covered by insurance?
Yeah, because Dr. Muir can put it as a in-house visit because I'm a resident of the lodge. I'm at Rocky Mountain Care. He's a Rocky Mountain Care physician. He can bill it as an inpatient visit and do red laser therapy during that visit.
All right. Well, I think that that's a serious consideration, to put in the bucket for moving to back to Heber. Like, if getting that therapy is, basically based on where you're living because of the situation, of it being able to be billed as in-house in Heber, that's legitimate. So, I guess put that on, in the bucket for moving to Heber as a pro. And I could even see that the move, you could justify a move to Heber based on that alone. But, but what's the cost? Right? The cost of moving to Heber is losing connectivity with your kids and your family, and because of location, and so it's like, you can't discount the adverse impact that will have on you being able to achieve your goals as well. Because to me, it's always, the two things that always float to the top are pain management and connectivity with your family.
Yeah.
Those two things are what we're all trying to solve. Get you out of pain and, and make you, more involved in, in the life of your children physically.
The one positive that I can think of is the summer is coming and the kids would have more of a reason to go out to Heber.
That's true.
And stuff, and to me as well, while they're doing stuff.
That's true. Other things to consider are the fact that, winter will be right around the corner from summer.
That's true.
And
that's when I'll be cut off.
Yes. And, well, you won't essentially be cut off, but,
But it'll be harder.
Right. The logistics of it don't work as well as they do during the summer.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going to say. forget.
My ability to shop and buy foods I shouldn't be eating will be greatly diminished in Heber because I don't have caring hands, shopper people. They don't go.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's really something that you'd want to make your decision based off of, because where there's a will, there's a way.
It'll be easier for me to stay away from shopping and buying extra food to eat.
Yeah, but it doesn't eliminate it, and where there's a will, there's a way. I'm pretty sure that you could find a way.
Yeah, it'll just be easier, and the kitchen there is a little bit more connected with me as far as what I eat and what I don't eat, and they make the blended salads that I eat, and then I don't eat as much of the other stuff, and I have access to a dietitian that works with me regularly. And it's just a bonus.
So,
and I have therapists that I like and that like me a lot, and they're committed to coming and expanding with me daily.
Right. So I remembered the thing that I was going to say, and that is that, you've qualified for this new choice waiver, right? Moving back to Heber may make it harder in the future for you to get that same waiver.
Yeah.
So if
not impossible, but I'll be kicked off of the waiver. I won't be able to go to Heber and then come right back to an assisted living.
Right. So
I'll have to live in Heber.
Right. So did you call somebody and like I asked to get that information on what the rules are? I understand.
After 90 days, I'll be kicked off.
After what?
90 days, I'll be kicked off. But I would be able to reapply later on if I want to.
All right. That was one of the questions I had with regards to moving was you qualified for this new choice waiver, and if you move back, does that mean that you'll never be able to get the new choice waiver again? And so what you're telling me is that you can
have to reapply.
Right. You'll move back. You'll be, you wouldn't qualify for 90 days or so, but
no, after 90 days, I'd be kicked off.
Oh, I see. So what you're saying is the new choice waiver rules would extend to you living in Heber for 90 days, and then after that period of time, you'll be officially kicked off the new choice waiver.
Right.
Okay. And then at that point, you would be picked up by the old waiver, or?
I would stay on just Medicaid.
Okay.
Medicaid, as long as I qualify for the facility.
Right.
For a skilled nursing facility. And that would have to be a doctor.
Basically.
Recommendation.
Right. Well, that would probably be easy to get, let's be honest.
Because my incontinence and my wound care.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't want to make this too long, but so I think, my perspective is I think Ethan and Deline have made very good points, and I think there's reason to to support moving. I think there's reasons to support staying. My 2 cents is that you know, in a perfect world, I'd like to be able to see, you know, how you exist in, you know, the conditions you are right now in a you know, sort of COVID free environment, you know, where we've put COVID behind us. You can have the interaction that you know that you want with your family, and that, you know, folks that are doing things for you are doing meaningful things that move the needle. Like I can, you know, I know for a fact that your life is not going to improve until you can find some way to be motivated, and I know that your motivation is going to be directly correlated to the amount of help that you get from your family, and you know, doing little daily activities and exercises, you know, visitations, or, you know, anything that your children are doing for you. There should be reciprocity, there should be currency, right? If your kids are going to go get you something to eat, you know, or buying you food or picking something up for you, then there's a payment to be made on that transaction, right? And that payment should be in the form of exercise. You know, let's be blunt about it. Because, you know, you and I talked before last time, you know, when I was introducing this idea about, you know, relationship currency, is that, you know, we're only human, and the only types of relationships that we want to be committed to are the types of relationships where we get something out of it. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I think the only type of relationship where that's not true is parents and children. You know, like, you know, we didn't have children to get something out of it. You know, so we have a
Well,
responsibility.
sure we did. We wanted their love and affection and their cuteness and
Right, but we don't hold that over their heads and say, you know, I'm
no.
not going to love you or do for you until you do for me. That's my point. I guess in that
If we had a
sense,
bunch of children that were vegetables,
right,
it wouldn't be very beneficial for us to have children.
right. But in every other relationship in our lives, there has to be, uh, you know, there has to be a two-way street of you know, commitment, and and when you see someone, you know, or you have a relationship with someone where you're not getting, you know, that reciprocity, you're, you know, it makes it very difficult to have a healthy relationship, or even to want to continue to be in a relationship. So, you know,
That's true.
so
But a relationship does have to be a two-way give and take.
right. So 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 let's push pause. I mean, that's my opinion, is that, you know, pushing pause for a month or two, trying to get COVID in the rearview mirror, you know, maybe, you know, having better relationship with your kids in the context of, you know, being able to provide something for them, you know, in you know, for the things that they're doing for you, and that their visits be, you know, not token visits, but, you know, there be a purpose and a goal for each and every visit, and that is to help you be healthier. You know, and whatever ways they can come up with that, you know, that are ingenious or intuitive or inspirational, you know, stretching with you, working out with you, you know, teaching you skills, you know, even cooking skills, you know.
That's what Dwayne wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be
Dwayne wants to see me get like a recumbent bike in my room to take advantage of the space I have and get on that every day, and she wants to come over and do some cooking and dancing with me because there's enough room to do some dance exercise videos and stuff.
Well, I don't have any problem, funding, exercise equipment. I mean, we've tried that in the past, and it really hasn't worked.
Well, when I had that bike in Clearfield, I was on it every morning listening to my scriptures and writing it at the same time every morning.
All right. Well,
And it broke when we tried to move.
like I said, I'm open to revisiting that. Your room, I can't even see it, but I'm sure it probably needs to be organized or cleaned in some way. I mean, I'm even open to renting somewhere where we can put your stuff to clear up your room, to make more room, for exercise mat or stretching mat and, some equipment in there.
Actually, they would have volunteered themselves to help turn me into a minimalist. Do you think I need to addiction recovery program?
Yeah, well, they didn't know you before
I'm
you
addicted to horses.
they didn't know you before you were hit by the car, and
Yeah.
and I'm not sure anybody's ever going to cure you of that.
Ethan says it's a spatial thing, and so does Mom. But Ashton thinks it's a addictive behavior. But him and Michaela said they were willing to help go through my stuff with me and help get rid of stuff. But I have to learn to let go of things.
Well, I know that the reason that you keep hold of those things is because you don't feel connected to your family, and if you were getting the connectivity that you want, you'd be able to let go of a lot of these things. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
So you're saying I should not proceed plans to go to Heber?
I'm saying push the pause. My opinion is that you should push the pause button on that for a few months.
Okay.
And that, and maybe we can end on this because I've got stuff I need to get done. But
Yeah, I need to talk to you about the documents.
yeah. So pushing pause on moving to Heber. The kids and Mom and myself, making sure that you are, I mean, it'd be nice if we could all organize with each other and do things for you that, are scheduled, like somebody calling you and talking to you on the phone as you walk for 5 minutes, or, somebody coming by.
Easier for Mom. Mom can just pop over. She pops over all the time.
Right. If somebody's gonna come over and do stretching or something like that, then you can put it on Zoom or something like that, and we can all be involved together in whatever they're doing. I think one of the biggest frustrations that most people have are that they don't see what the other hands are doing. Right. And I I guess some people need that in order to feel like they, can help you. And if that's the way it is, then I guess fine. Then we need to find out ways to help those folks, be more comfortable helping you, realizing that there are more people out there helping you, doing things than they understand or fathom. So making sure that other folks, are involved in whatever they're doing will help you, feel more connected to your family. So if Delene's going to come by and clean, then you guys can stream it. And if folks are interested in, in being part of that, or having conversations while you do that, then they can, log on and be connected with you while you're doing that. So, so push pause, find ways to be more connected, make visits meaningful, towards, you being healthier and more independent, and that those, are occurring on a daily basis, between everybody. It shouldn't be that hard if you're doing something, once a week or once every 2 weeks. It shouldn't be that hard to have somebody physically in your room, every other day. And the commit.
That's the one kept suggesting when her niece weren't here. Let's go for a walk, let's go for a walk, let's go for a walk.
Say that again?
And Hannah, she was the one that kept saying, let's go for a walk, let's go for a walk before we leave, let's go for a walk before we leave.
Did you go for a walk?
We ended up not going for a walk because we were stretching and doing stuff on the floor.
Well, I know that part of the reason that sometimes things like that don't happen is because, you push them off. Like if I call you up and I say, hey, let's do this thing really quick, you're like, oh, I've got these other things that I need to do and I got to do this. Like on your end, you're going to have to, be more comfortable with just dropping whatever you're doing and striking while the anvil is hot. Like, if you got people who are motivated to help you do something, then you need to be better at taking advantage of that. It's like free money. Somebody comes up to you and
recognizing the opportunity.
yes, it's if somebody hands you out free money, you just, you take it. You drop what you're doing. You don't keep doing the dishes. Somebody's, giving you free money. So you got to take advantage of free money when it's, being, extended to you. So let's push pause on the move. Like that's my opinion. You should push pause on the move. Find ways, we as your family have to find ways to be more connected with you, physically and spiritually every day. We got to find ways to, make that connectivity a part of everyone's lives. When someone's coming over, make sure that there's an opportunity for other people to share in it. And you have to quit, refusing free money.
Yeah.
And let's do that for a couple of months and let's see where that takes us. And if it becomes evident that it's not working, then, the fact that you will get better pain mitigation and medical treatment in Heber probably alone is a reason to move back to Heber at that point. And the fact that you're not going to be pigeonholed and staying there, that if you do get better out there still would be an opportunity for you to be on New Choice waiver and come back to Linden. I think that's how we should move forward. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. I love you. I got to go.
All right. Let me know about those documents.
All right. I will.
Thank you for
right.
taking the time to talk with me.
Yeah, no problem. I love you, Pamela.
I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome. All right.
I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.